Oh, okay.
Hello out there. We're on the air. It's curling day in Arizona. This is your host Ryan Olson bringing you the latest from the mixed fours tournament as part of the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. This is a contest between Team Maxie, who is throwing first rocks, versus Team Walsh. Gabrielle Coleman has the first rock, and we are underway here. We have 4 games in the ice, and we'll introduce the games, let you know where you can find scores, and our second stream. So she throws into the rings, but Fred Maxie is okay with that. As we see the next person throwing the rock, it's the lead for Team Walsh. That is going to be Amar Masalma. And he throws a takeout. Mission accomplished. And looks like Coleman is throwing the hits. And a little bit of a roll. Second shot coming from Amar. And this looks a bit lighter weight. Looks like Mikhail's sweeping to hold it on, and it just kisses the yellow and not enough to get it to move very far. The first of the second stones coming from Adam Nathan for Team Maxie. Looks like they're putting up a guard or trying to split the rings. And it's a center guard. We are playing with the no-tick rule, so that means for the fifth rock of the end, which I think is that rock, an opponent can't dislodge a center line guard off the center line. First rock coming from the second for Walsh, that's Seema Shah. Walsh is a San Francisco rink playing out of the Oakland facility. It's part of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Looks like Nathan's going to take on the out-turn takeout. Mission accomplished. Seema made her hit too. I'm trying to keep track of the shots so I can let you guys know how well people do, relatively speaking. As we see Seema's second shot, I think looking to peel the guard, or just based on the weight, it looks like peel or tick the guard over. And it does tip the guard over, makes it more of a corner guard. Kind of curious about how to score that. I'll say that was a clear the front.
Oh, are we moving it today? Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Next route coming for the third for Team Maxie. This is Michelle Wagner. And Team Maxie is an interesting formation because they hail from 3 separate clubs. Maxie plays out of Coyotes. Coleman plays out of San Francisco. And Adam Nathan and Michelle Wagner play out of the Capital Curling Club from the Dakotas. And I couldn't figure out which Dakota it is, but I'd have to look that up. So, this is the third for Walsh. This is Mikael Simon. Simon.
Capital is Bismarck.
Dakota. Okay.
Bismarck.
They play out of the capital of the state?
Well, the capital, it's called the Capital Curling Club,
Right.
and that's in Bismarck.
The capital.
Is that, I guess it is,
Yeah, I think Bismarck's the capital of North Dakota.
that's where they hail.
We're having some fun with geography. This is not a for kids broadcast, but we always have an educationally fun time. As you see Michelle's second shot here. So they take out attempt flash. Team Maxie has found success at this event before. They won the whole thing about 3 years ago, if I remember correctly, out of the when we were playing out at the Southern California Curling Center. So it's great to see the different variety of teams. As I'll show you what I'm seeing. This draw from Michael or Mikael. More of a front stone, partially kind of covering the draw patch of that shot stone. So Wagner has the broom on the ice for Skip Fred Maxie. So speaking of the variety of teams, we do have 4 games on the ice, 8 teams as part of the 16-team field. On sheet 1, we have Team Duncan out of Coyotes taking on Team Pomeroy. Pomeroy hails from the Oval Curling Club out of Utah. Sheet B is our feature sheet, as you're seeing. Team Walsh taking on Team Maxie. And sheet C is our Coyotes streaming sheet. As you see, Fred shot away. I think looking to dislodge the that red rock, and it does hit that out. So mission accomplished from Fred. So sheet C is our Coyotes streaming sheet. You can find that at the Coyotes Curling Club YouTube channel. And that game features Team Barajas from San Francisco and Team LeClaire, that's the Coyotes rink. And then the D sheet game is Team Fry from Wine Country, if I remember correctly. And I do. Take out Team Hazard. Team Hazard hails from Lake Tahoe, Epic Curling, and Wine Country. So all those games, we're keeping track of the scores at bondspieler.com. So you can check it out at the website to find out what it's all about. As we see the skip for Team Walsh, this is Sarah Walsh, curling for 17 years. And This shot is, I think, looking to kind of split the rings. She has a hammer this end, by nature of drawing closer to the center of the rings than the other squad. And it looks like this intern draw was successful, splitting the rings. It's not shot, but it looks like what Maxie wants to do is maybe hit the red on the left and then roll across the house back towards that shot red. It's not the hardest shot, but it's not an easy one. This is where we'll see if Fred had his Wheaties this morning, or if you're gluten-free Riceys, porridge. Riffing on gluten-free breakfast options. This is Fred Maxie's last. Looking for a hit and roll. That's pretty close. Sweeping to hold the line. Going to make the red go away, and it's going to cross the house and go over the top of that red stone. Adam Nathan knew it was close. So, mission about 50% accomplished. Did get rid of one of the red Walsh counters. So now Sarah has a draw for 2 to open up the scoring. And a pretty good start for the Walsh rink. It's fun to say rink for some reason. Last rock here, the hammer from Sarah Walsh, first end. Draw for 2. Looks pretty good. They're sweeping. Needs to make sure it basically gets full 8 foot for that second point. It's close, and it is good. That's 2 points for Team Walsh. Opens things up against Team Maxie. Team Maxie is 2-0 in pool play. And I think they have either punched their ticket to the playoffs or are very close to it. So while they take a brief pause in the action, we will as well. And before we start the second end, just a reminder that the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg is presented by the doubletakeout.com, where the world's top curlers are ranked throughout the curling season, and by curling.gg, the website where users can set up curling simulations to see their game and develop a good game at curling.gg, and by Endgame Curling. Endgame Curling is a manufacturer of curling supplies, including the travel broom. It collapses into thirds, I believe, and can be packed into a carry-on suitcase at endgamecurling.com. All right, Rocks in play. We are underway here in the second end. As it looks like, I think Walsh wanted a guard. It might slip into the house. It does not. It's a guard.
Like we've had more than a minute already.
So Gabrielle's first shot of the end. She's been curling for 10 plus years. And I think it's looking to try to draw around that center guard. And it looks pretty good. We'll settle in the back of the house. Back 8.
I am to blame. That is correct. She was ready. She was ready to go.
And this is Amara's second shot. He's been curling for 11 years. He's got a varied resume. Curling-wise, he's been to the Pan-Continental Curling Championships this year and last year as the skip for Team Saudi Arabia. I want to be correct. He's going to tick that centerline guard. I think he may have wanted to try and draw around. So we'll get into his biography a bit more as the game unfolds. This is Coleman's second shot. I think she's trying to draw around again. She's been curling for 10 plus years. She went to the Olympic trials as a competitor in 2009. And that draw's pretty good. It's a little deep, so Walsh does have backing if she wants to start putting rocks in. And that does seem to be the call. And this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Throughout the curling season, proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the website, crunches the numbers, and creates a ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the U.S. and the world at doubletakeout.com. The CMS shot's a little heavy. It's going to go through the house, out of play. Just a bit of a miss. That does give an opportunity to Team Maxie, where Adam Nathan is in the hack getting sets. He's been curling for 20 plus years. He has participated at Junior Nationals twice and was part of Team USA at the 2009 New Zealand Winter Games, which I wonder if is during the summer because of all the hemispheric shenanigans. This draw looks pretty good. It's right on the tee line. And so now Walsh has a couple options. She could try to draw on top of that yellow, but it wouldn't be shot. It looks like she's going to try to clear some of those yellows, which makes sense. Seema has been curling for 2.5 years. She was on a team that was a runner-up at last year's, 2 years ago's Club Championships, the 2023 event. This takeout looks close, and it does get one out. The shooter does not stick around, but that was probably to be expected. And also in favor of Team Walsh is that they do have the two guards in front of the house. As you see, Nathan's second stone. And that was a pretty good job putting the rock pretty much back in place. It's even higher up at the house. And so it looks like Walsh is going to stick with her takeout approach for now. As we see Mikael Simon deliver his rock. He's been curling for 6 years. He was an ice maker at the Men's and Women's Nationals in 2023. Was also one of the MoPac mixed doubles events in 23-24. And this, so I thought they were going to go for the hit. They're going for the draw, but it crashes on the guard, unfortunately. So they opened it up a little bit, so the pass to the button's there. Also, that takedown is going to be easier for Walsh. So it looks like Maxie wants to close the door from with Michelle Wagner's first shot. And Michelle's been curling for 20 plus years. Sweepers are going at this rock. It looks pretty good. It might curl into the guard. And it does chip off the guard, which is not too bad. Especially because the shooter rolls right in front of that yellow stone. It actually might make things a little easier for Walsh in terms of the shot selection. She could try to draw around on the left side here. And that's what she's doing. She's not going to try the raise. Although, Maxie's sitting 3 right now. I would start to be a little worried about those counting rocks in the house. So when not curling, Mikhail writes a lot of code for Microsoft. He's been a software engineer for 26 years. So this draws away. It looks like it might curl into the guard. Ooh, man. That's a tricky situation for Walsh. Because it hit the red guard in front of the other red guard. And so now it's going to be harder for Walsh to tap any of those reds into the house. Although she does still have a couple options, and it's not the end of the world. It's just not a positive development. So Maxie has the broom down for a draw of his own as Michelle Wagner gets set. She was on the 2022 MoPac Miss Championship squad. As I mentioned, all 3 of these players, except for Adam Nathan, were a part of that championship squad or rink, and they were able to go to the national championships. I think they did fairly well. I would have to double check the record. So this one's hanging out and is going to go a little deep. But it does put a 4th rock in the rings. Looks like that might outcount that red on the right. No, it looks like it's too deep. So we are 2 stipstones here in the second end. Looks like they were picking up a little bit of hair or debris on the ice. The ice stats do a great job of keeping the ice in playing competitive condition, but stuff happens. People track stuff on the ice, and so it's important to make sure that the ice surface is as clean as possible, because you don't want the stone to hit anything. Because if it does, it could the stone could act in unpredictable ways. So this is Sarah Walsh's first. She's been to the club national championships several times, starting in 2012 and as most recently as 2024. Going for the raise. Just a little on the light side, but not too bad. That was a tap up. Pretty close to being perfect. It does cut Maxie down to 1 rock. Yeah, just want to make sure. I got it wrong last night, so I'm being very careful today. So Michelle Wagner has the broom down. Based on where the broom is positioned, I'm trying to think that Max is going to do some tap back magic of his own, or Maxie magic, or something else that starts with M. Fred Maxie's been curling for 30 plus years. 8-time MoPac mixed champion, 4-time Washington mixed champion. And then he won the whole dang thing in 2016, the mixed national championship. Now, usually mixed fours is one of the events that goes to the world championships. Not a good outcome, unfortunately. I do want to see a replay of that. Now, usually mixed fours is one of the events that goes to the world championships. Not a good outcome, unfortunately. So it was a takeout. I thought he was going to tap back, and so he actually took out. He kind of opened up the right side, which is not actually it's a good outcome in terms of opening it up so you can draw for your last. And I think that's what he might need to do, and why Walsh is trying to close the door on that right side. We went from Maxie sitting one to Walsh sitting shot rock, although that is a very lonely Walsh red in the rings. I wonder, so they're going for, I suggested a guard, but drawing into the rings, it makes more sense. But it needs to make sure it gets there. And it looks pretty good, actually. It's going to draw right on top of the yellow, which is where I belatedly thought would be a good place to put it. I'm not going to lie and say that's where I thought it should have been all along. So Maxie has a draw against 2. So all those yellows don't mean a thing. Just an interesting turn of events. Fred Maxie was building up something, and just in a couple shots, that's not available anymore. So looking for a draw. I have my stopwatch on me. Let's time this bad boy. Do I have my stopwatch? I do have my stopwatch. Last shot here, second end. Going for a draw. So I had my stopwatch, but it was not in stopwatch mode. Oh, this is maybe over curling. Maybe a plan B. No. Oh, goodness. So that's a steal at 2 for Team Walsh. Going up 4-0. Just a good effort. Just having a bit tricky time figuring out the ice to start things. But we're going to take a quick pause in the action, and we'll be right back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, presented by curling.gg. While they're getting set for the start of the third end, let's take a quick trip around the rings with the live scoreboard at bondspieler.com. It's a spin-off of Cinnabon. It was actually known as Cinnabon Spieler, but for health reasons they changed the name to just Bond Spieler. Just like because, you know, Cinnabon is just a calorie bomb, so So they just wanted to abbreviate Von Spieler. Of course I'm joking. As you see, Amar's first rock. Actually, now you can see Amar's first rock. And that's a guard. And it's on the center line too. So a lot of teams are finishing the second end. A couple are in the third end. So some of these scores are a little, maybe just a couple minutes behind. This is the Gabrielle's first rock, looking for a corner guard. On sheet 1, the contest between Team Duncan of Coyotes and Team Pomeroy from the Oval. Pomeroy was forced to a single in the first end with a hammer. Duncan had the hammer in the second. And no scores posted yet, but we'll keep you updated. As you see, MR's second rock. Sheet B is our feature sheets. Walsh is up 4-0 over Maxie, as hopefully you guys know. Sheet C is our Coyotes club stream. You can find video of that at the Coyote Curling Club YouTube channel. We have Team Barajas from San Francisco taking on Team Leclerc from Coyotes. And Leclerc converted the hammer in the first for 2. And they just ended the second end. I'm not quite sure what the score is. And then on sheet D, the game between Team Fry of One Country and Team Hazard of Lake Tahoe Epic Hurling and One Country. Fry was forced to a single. So it looks like Amar was able to draw into the range, and Coleman was able to punch it out. We have a clean house right now, which is, I can't say that for my house, but we have a clean house here. This is Seema's first shot. Not too many people say they're doing chores when they come to the curling club. This is probably the only place where it's actually joyful to clean the house. Although this draw from Seema is just a little heavy. It might sit down in the bat. Although, based on Maxie's less than enthusiastic sweeping, it probably wasn't going to stick around. Adam Nathan's first. I think he's trying to do that draw around. It's pretty close. It's a little light, and the line's pretty good, but it's still a little exposed. Especially if you look at it from this head-on view, which I do apply directly to my forehead. So Seema, her record also includes 5 first-place finishes and 4 second-place finishes at Bonspiels in Tahoe and San Francisco. The shot, it crashes on the guard, and then kind of whips and rolls over the center guard. So that was either a tap back or a soft weight takeout. I'm gonna say it was a takeout. Did open things up. And it did clear the guard. So that may have been a plan B. So Nathan puts up another guard. Now we're to Mikhail's first rock. This is the only team that used emojis in their bios, which is fun. You guys can't see the emojis, but they're fun emojis. So Mikhail's going to take out the yellow, and it's going to roll a little bit towards the center. That's a pretty good shot there from Mikhail. So it looks like Fred Massey's asking Michelle Wagner to draw around on the right side. So part of Michelle's experience includes going to 8 qualifying national events, 2 non-qualifying events, and an Olympic trial. Now this is coming up a little light. I wonder if it's a little slow on that side of the ice. So it turns into a guard. And so Walsh is looking to maybe put another red on the right side. I don't know if they're going to be able to get around the guards and end up in the place that she wants it to. And this end is being brought to you by curling.gg, which is the site that Mikhail runs. This draw is pretty good. It's going to end up a little deep, though. It's going to give a target for Maxie to draw to. I think that's what he wants. So curling.gg is a site where curlers can run simulations of different curling scenarios, determine how an end might play out based on shot selection and how the plays play out. That's at curling.gg. So that draws a little light again. So it seems a little slow on that side for Team Maxie. It crashes on the guard, and it does roll wide, so it does kind of open up a port. And I think Walsh would like to close that port or draw down on top of it. Draw down on top of the red that's in the back 8 foot. Mikhail is saying, hey, why don't we put it in the top 12 or the guard zone? I think just getting through the port is the main objective there, especially as Walsh is sitting 2 up 4 early in this game. So happy to be here at the Coyotes Curling Club. It's always a good time. Everyone's super friendly. The volunteers are top notch, and I'm not saying that just because they're sitting in front of me. I definitely appreciate coming to a club like this, especially as I'm on arena ice. We don't have a facility like this where I play, so it's always good to see something like Coyotes. So this shot, so Walsh was hoping to be into the port, and it ends up being a little short. So unfortunately that guard is a miss. But not a bad outcome, because I don't think they wanted to interfere with the ports and make the opening bigger. So Harding is not the worst outcome. However, there is that port now for Maxie to draw through. It does kind of simplify the strategy. Although I say that there is the draw on the left side that's still available for a single point if Maxie needed to take it on, which is good skipping strategy. You know, you want to try to score multiple points, but you also want to keep things open enough where if you need to draw for a single point, you can. And that seems to be a possibility here, although we need to see if Maxie can get through this port. It's pretty close. It looks a little light too. Like it seems like maybe a little light on this side. And then it looks like it might curl into the red in the top 8. And it does. So it does put a Maxie yellow in the rings. It's something that he could use if he needed to, and also if the port's still open. I would have thought he would have thrown with a little bit more pace, especially because it's been a little slow on that side. How slow? Let me time it and find out. Especially because I have the stopwatch working this time. So here we go. This is Susan Walsh's last without the hammer here in the third end. Going for the draw through the port. If it guards, that's fine. And that's what they seem to be going for. I got 17:12, which is the time between the hog lines. So it does seem a little slow, because I imagine for a guard on ice that's super up to speed, well, it would be kind of high 16s if I were to guess. Maybe mid 16s. So now with that port closed, Fred Maxie has no choice but to try to draw on the right side. And they haven't played on this side for a while, but it might be faster. So I'm hoping to time it and see what it could be. This is the last rock here in the third end. Fred Maxie drawing against 2 for a possible single point. Sweepers are on it early. And this is coming up slow too. I got 16:06. So that's a steal of 2 there. Just a tough day at the office for the Maxie rink. Well, we're going to take another pause in the action. We'll be right back when we return to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Rocks and play were underway here in the fourth end as Amar makes his first shot down the ice. I think looking to probably go into the rings. And that way it kind of challenges Maxie to either ignore it or try to take it on and draw the play into the rings. That was a good draw from Amar. And Maxie's going to ignore it for now. Looking for a corner guard, it looks like, from Gabrielle. Looks like it's going to be about a mid guard in the. Might be a little deeper than I thought. It looks like it's in the. The near third. The guard zone is often divided into thirds as part of a system that divides the entire playing area into tenths, known as the Furby system. So it looks like Amar's going to draw a tap, and that looks textbook. Taps it back to the back button. Well done from Amar, who loves playing chess and can be found at the U.S. Chess Open in Vegas every June. So it looks like Maxie is still opting to ignore those two red Walsh rocks, asking Coleman to draw around the corner guard that she just put up. Looks pretty good. Maybe a smidge heavy. No, it's pretty good. It is somewhat open though. So it looks like Walsh is going to take it on with Seema's first rock. Fun fact, she lived in India and worked in Bollywood, dancing and choreographing for film, TV, music videos, stage shows, and toured internationally. And this shot is made, a nice hit and roll. Full points. Although I missed the turn that she had. This is Adam Nathan's first, facing 3 red rocks in the rings. And now Maxie can't choose to ignore it. He's going to start trying to moving those reds around. And just 2 of the reds moving. One goes, actually just all 3 of the reds moving. One goes out of play. That's a good shot there from Adam Nathan. Seema's next rock. I think just looking to take out the yellow and minimize Maxie's scoring opportunities. This game is, or this end is being presented by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of several brooms, including the Endgame Origin, the travel handle, and the Icon, elevating the standard for high performance brooms at endgamecurling.com. So Seema made her hits. And Adam Nathan, I don't think he's trying to tap. I don't know if he's trying to draw. Okay, it looks like he did tap. I don't know if that's what he wanted, but I think that's where it ended up. So Mikhail's next rock. He is an avid player of Dungeons and Dragons and is currently a DM for a long-running campaign. Ooh. So he's able to take out the yellow, but that was after it jammed on the red in the back. So good outcome. It could have opened the door for Maxie had it gone slightly differently. So we are playing 8 end games, although teams can choose to resign early if they feel it's out of hand, or they can't come back, or they just want to hit the bar early. But that does mean that after this end, we're going to take a 5-minute break, which I'm sure we could all use a breather. Maybe go outside and touch grass, as the kids say. Which they have grass here in Arizona. It's kind of weird. But it's better than the alternative phrase, go out and touch cactus. So that draw was made by Michelle. And now Mikhail's going to take it out. And mission accomplished. And Maxie's been drawn into a hitting game, and he's still trying to draw in, but Walsh is responding. Yes, Walsh is responding with takeouts, and they're sticking around. So now Walsh is sitting 4 red, and the center of the house is open, which is a positive. But that's among the most positive things I can say about the situation. So looking to draw again from Michelle Wagner. This looks okay if it can get around that guard. It does. Oh, it just whips off the guard. And it settles into the top 12. Looks like it's good for... I'm trying to count rocks. Maybe 3rd or 4th shot. Possible 2nd. Okay. I like to. A warm room saying it outcounts 2 for sure, which it definitely does. It's just hard to tell with the camera views, and like even with the overhead camera, it's tricky sometimes. As we see Sarah Walsh throw her first, going for a takeout. Her experience includes the 2024 Torneo Ice Brasil de Curling. And that shot was on fuego. Yeah. Does get rid of the yellow, and now Walsh is sitting 5. Ay caramba. I don't know how much of that pertains to Brazil, but I'm riffing here. Definitely do appreciate you guys tuning in for this game. We have it's part of a full weekend of games from Coyotes as part of the Mixed Fours tournament. Our next game will be at about 12:30. The last game of pool play. As we see Fred Maxie get set. It's the first of his 2 stones, hoping to generate some offense. And also, just as an advisory, the cameras are mobile, so we can move games if this game were to end early. This is coming up a smidge light. Just a... Yeah. Short with backing, as the warm room says. Which again is among the most positive things you can say about that shot. Sometimes you just have to look for the silver linings. And we found one. So with the center of the rings wide open, Walsh is going to put a rock, I imagine, full 12 foot. Maybe biting the 8 would be okay. But she doesn't want to go too deep and give Maxie a hit for a single point. Although, I mean, you don't want to give up points, but giving up a single point here is not the end of the world. This is coasting a little bit. But it looks pretty good for second shots. And I said top 12, top 8 was good too. Full marks, because Maxie can't hit that out by itself and score a single point. So Maxie himself is going to draw, hoping to touch the 4-foot for the single.
There we go. Take off.
Last rock here in the fourth end. Fred Maxie drawing against 5, maybe 6 for a single point. Let's close. It's not going to hit the front red. Now it needs to stop as Mikhail sweeps the heck out of the rock. Is it going to stop in time? I think so. They're taking a look at it. And again, like this camera is not the best for precision placement. But yeah, so Mikhail indicates that Maxie did score the single points. So Team Maxie's on the board. And we are at halftime. Today's halftime show is going to be a preview of the boat parade tonight at Tempe Town Lake. We have 50 boats, all decorated with holiday lights, about to do a parade across the ice. Actually, they're in the warm room, and we don't have the camera in the warm room, so you can't see all the boat parade. But the boat parade is also tonight at Tempe Town Lake, as I understand. So, so if you're not watching curling, maybe check it out. We'll be right back. The 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg is brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Updated throughout the curling season with the rankings of the top men's and women's teams from around the world, doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. For skips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is the ultimate practice tool. Visit curling.gg to test your skills right meow. And by Endgame Curling, elevating the standard for high performance brooms at endgamecurling.com. Welcome back to the second half of our morning draw here. Part of the Mixed Fours tournament at Coyotes Curling Club. As we see Gabrielle Coleman throw the first rock, it's a guard. And for the first time since the first end, Team Walsh has the hammer. It was a tough go for a while for Team Maxie, but it's the second half of the game. It could be a whole new ball game, as it were. So Amar started curling in 2013 in Vancouver, British Columbia. After watching or learning from television. So he draws around, ends up as a guard. I don't know if they wanted to go into the rings. Oh, and they're taking a look to see if it is in the rings. So as this end gets underway, let's go around the rings and update the scoreboard. Scores are available at bondspieler.com. As Coleman's second shot is heading down the way. Looks like the draw going to end up in the rings. Buried, that's a great shot. So on sheet A, the contest between Team Duncan of Coyotes and Team Pomeroy of Oval. It was kind of back and forth until Pomeroy posted a mitten of 5 points in the third end. And then Duncan responded with a deuce in the fourth. The game is 6-3 in favor of Pomeroy at the end of the halftime break. So this is Amar's second rock. And this also looks like it's going to be a little light. It's going to settle in like on top of the first rock he threw. Slight tap back. Sheet B is our feature sheet, as you hopefully know. 1 second. All right, so this is that. Sounds good. So Walsh has been pretty dominant so far in this game, posting twos in the first three ends. Maxie was able to respond with a single in the fourth, and the score is currently 6-1 Walsh after the fourth end break. Sheet C is our Coyotes club stream, available at the Coyotes YouTube page. As we see Seema throw her shots. Her first. I think looking to open things up. Move some granite around. That's a clear. And the shooter doesn't stick around. Sheet C, as I mentioned, is the Coyotes Club streaming page or game. We have Team LeClaire taking on Team Barajas. And Team LeClaire is up 5-2, scoring in 3 of the 4 ends so far. And this is Adam Nathan's second rock here, a better draw than his first. So LeClaire's at 5-2. Barajas was able to get a deuce in the third. And then on sheet D, the game between Team Fry of Wine Country and Team Hazard of Lake Tahoe in Wine Country. Hazard's an interesting team because they gave up 6 points in the first end of the first 2 games they played. It didn't happen this time. They forced Fry to a single point in the first end. And that's another good clear shot from Seema. And so they only gave up a single point to Fry in the first end, and then they put up 5 of their own in the second, and then responded with 3 in the fourth. And so the score right now is 8-2, and it looks like we're in the halftime break on that sheet. So all the games are being kept, the scores are being kept updated at bondspieler.com. So you might ask, what's the deal? Check out stores at Bond Spieler. These all can't be winners. And speaking of winners, we have a look at the standings. As we see Michelle Wagner's first rock head down the ice. It's a guard kind of protecting those 2 yellow Maxie rocks in the house. And so Walsh wants some clearing action from Mikhail. So we have 16 teams in the field, divided into 4 pools of 4 teams apiece. And so most of the playoffs are already set. It just happened that the top teams went 2-0 in their first 2 games, and essentially eliminating the other teams in the pool. So having their tickets already punched, we'll go over that in just a second. That was a good clear for Mikhail. So it looks like Maxie wants Michelle to draw. So speaking of going to the playoffs, Maxie and Walsh, they're both going to the playoffs. So I guess this game is just to help determine playoff seeding. Sheet C, the Barajas LeClaire lane, both of those guys are going to the playoffs. And then Pool B, Pool C is Barrett and Raju. And we're going to see them next as our feature game at 12:30. And then on Pool D, we have McDonald already going dancing in the playoffs. But it's up to either Team Endicott or Spangler to win their game and have a chance to advance. If Endicott wins, they're in, and I think if Spangler wins, they need a little bit of luck. So, and both of those teams are playing next, not against each other. Although the Endicott game is going to be the Coyotes Club stream on Sheet C at 12:30. So Mikhail's throwing a draw. It's going to crash on the guard. Maxie is still sitting 2. And I think he just wants to take away the tap back toward the button. Looking for a guard, I believe. Fred Maxie gets set as we look at his delivery. A little bit of a positive release on the end. If you do it consistently, with the slight addition at the very end, it helps I guess work on consistent speed and delivery, and that's a over curls a bit, and so that run back is there for Walsh. So looking for the tap back. It looks like it's there. So Mikhail has the broom down, and Susan Walsh, or Sarah Walsh, my apologies, pushes out from the hat with her left-handed delivery. Sweepers are on it early. Seema trying to hold the line. And I think it's over curling. Oh, wow. I want to see that again. As it ticked off the guard, it still made contact with the red. Seema trying to hold the line. And I think it's over curling. Oh, wow. I want to see that again. As it ticked off the guard, that's a pretty crazy shot there. And it's good for shot. I guess it proves true the adage that it's good to be good, but better to be lucky. Because that was not a bad shot, but it got really good when she got some luck there. So this is Fred Maxie's last, I think, just trying to draw into the pile and sit shots. Looks pretty close. It's coming up light though. So Walsh has a chance for 2. They're sitting. They have 1 in the bank, hoping to cash in on a second shot. We're gonna make another money joke in a minute as soon as I find a spare moment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is the only time where I get to make like lots and lots of like silly jokes while talking about one of the favorite things in the world I love to do and love to watch and talk about. This is the last shot coming from Sarah Walsh. A draw for 2. It's close. It's over curling though. It's going to maybe crash on the yellow. But no harm, no foul. And Walsh adds a single to their lead. It's now 7-1 in favor of Walsh. So the person updating Bondspieler had it right. we have a pre-charge running Bondspieler. We're going to take a pause in the action. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds. Rocks in play. We are underway here in the 6th end with the first rock coming from Amar. He was a semifinalist at the 2023 MoPac Club Playdowns. As his shot goes into the rings, Sarah Walsh is happy with that. And friend Maxie is choosing to ignore it. Excuse me, with the first rock coming from Gabrielle Coleman. So this mixed fours tournament is part of what we're now calling the doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. I kept pushing to call it the Season of Champions, but apparently someone else is using it. Which is a joke because Curling Canada uses it. It'd be fun if we stole it, but I don't think it behooves us to annoy Curling Canada. So this is the first of our season, and the first with our sponsors with doubletakeout.com, Endgame Curling, and curling.gg, which is bringing you this end of play. As this draw looks a little short. I think they were going to try and draw around the yellow, but blocking that draw path is probably just as good. The next event is going to be in mid-January at the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club in Oakland. It's going to be the men's and women's club playdowns. And if you guys are tuning in before Sunday night, the deadline to register is tomorrow. And I need to put a post on social media to remind people to sign up. We have a great field, but there's still room for more teams. So if you have a men's or women's team in MoPac that would like to enter your playdowns, more information is available on the website. Team Maxie was able to make that takeout. As you see, Seema's first rock, I believe. And that takeout is accomplished and gets the roll. Pokes out on the other side. So in addition to January's club playdowns, we also host a 5 and under tournament where the winner will qualify for the national championship. And that's in February in Curl Vegas, which is in our geographic region, although not necessarily part of our association. And then in June, we're going to be back at Coyotes for the men's and women's arena playdowns. And these are all tournaments that are events that lead to national championships. So it's really great to see the best teams in our region face off against each other for the chance to go to compete at nationals. Seema's second shot turned into a guard. No, that was not Seema's. That was Nathan's. This is Seema's second shot. Gets the yellow, but jams on the red in the back. So it keeps a clear house. I gave it full marks, but I think you can make an argument that it might just be a little less than perfect. But just a huge thanks to everyone being here, the volunteers, also our sponsors who were able to sign on for this year, including doubletakeout.com, curling.gg, and Endgame Curling. As we see Nathan's second rock come down the ice. We definitely appreciate being able to have these broadcasts and showcase again the best that our region has to offer and the region's players have to offer. So around the house looks pretty successful. It's exposed though. As the next rock from Mikhail is underway. Looking to punch out that yellow. They're trying to coax it over, and alas, it shall not be coaxed. And live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the clubs and members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association, as our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit MoPacCA.org today to find a curling club near you or for help getting one started in your community. So that draw for Michelle just crashes on the guard. Does clog up things though. So a positive outcome with that shot. As Mikhail gets set for a second rock. Looks like a clearing action, and it does do an okay job of clearing. Gets one of the yellows out of play entirely, but it pushes a second yellow into the rings. So Maxie is now sitting 2. And it looks like Michelle Wagner is going to try to turn up the pressure a little bit with a draw. I think maybe to be a top 12. Guard's okay too. Sweepers are on, and then now they're called off, as it's going to curl into the pile and to push the red into the rings. Maxie might be making something of this moment. A broom's down for a draw, it appears. So, as far as I can tell, it looks like Sarah Walsh has only thrown one takeout this entire game. And she goes for a draw again. Hoping it goes through the port, but it looks like it will crash on the guard. Maxie is sitting 2. And looking to see... Is he sitting 2? That red on the top of the range might be out counting the other yellow. It's close.
Yeah.
So Maxie wants to put a rock, I think, a guard or go to the top 8, if I were to guess. He's talking over the shot with his front end.
Got it right, so what do you worry about? Jealous because I'm most Adonis.
You reeled it into me, maybe.
Set it for a draw. Oh, I'll update the scoreboard. Sorry, guys. Maxie has the hammer. And looks like this draw is pretty successful. Gonna tap the shot stone back under cover. And then the shooter's gonna roll wide. Open. And so I think Walsh is gonna want to take that on the right. And maybe, at the very least, get rid of one of the yellows. Although she wanted to be aggressive. I don't know if the double's there or not. But expect Walsh to throw some pepper at this. Last rock without the hammer. This is Sarah Walsh with her last. Looks like a normal takeout weight. Gets the yellow and rolls on top of the shot stone. That is beautiful. It's really hard to make it any better than what Sarah Walsh just did. It looks like Maxie is still shot, but there's no real place for Maxie to put another rock to count. Looking at Maxie's shot selection, he started with hits. Looks like for his first 3 shots, and then ever since then he's thrown draws, which I guess would make sense because just trying to put rocks in play and make something happen. The broom's down. This I'm not sure what he's trying to do with his shot. And it's going to be like yellow onto red. But that red is, the red that's on the button, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Last rock here, the hammer. Fred Maxie. Sitting one, seeing if you can get more. Oh, it was really close. So I mentioned him throwing mostly draws, and then he throws the takeout. All right, adds another one to the tally. It's 7-2. Oh, it's handshakes. After 6. Both these teams are going to the playoffs. Good to see. So let me see if we can move our cameras over to sheet A. It's a tie game, so let's do it. If you'll hold a minute, we'll take a pause in the action, and we'll be right back. But definitely an interesting game to see Walsh and Maxie, and we'll be right back to hopefully bring you the sheet A game. Back into Mo. Sorry. Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. We are in bonus coverage for the first time for people that can't get enough curling. This is the contest on sheet A between Team Duncan of Coyotes and Team Pomeroy of Oval. It's been an interesting game to catch you up, as I will also update the scoreboard in a second. Pomeroy playing with the Red Rocks. No, apologies. Duncan's playing with the Red Rocks. Come on, keyboard. Duncan's playing with the Red Rocks. They were able to jump out to like a full. Well, it's been back and forth. Teams traded singles in the first two ends, and then Pomeroy posted a 5 spot in the third end. And then Duncan responded with multiple points in the fourth and fifth ends, and then Pomeroy had 2 in the sixth. So if I have the score correct, which I hope I do, it looks like it's going to be 8 to 6 in favor of Pomeroy. As teams are kind of having a conference to talk about the scenario here. And yes, indeed, the score is 8 to 6 in favor of Pomeroy. And it is the 7th end with Duncan having the hammer. So it looks like David Hurst, we're to second stones. Here in this game, we got David Hurst throwing his second rock. He flashed on his first. And does the hit, and it will roll. I think just working to keep an open house and hopefully take out some of these Duncan rocks. And I guess I should note that Pomeroy, they play out of the Olympic Oval in Utah as part of Oval Curling Club. They're also it's also my home club. So I will again vow to exercise my discretion and responsibility to be a fair and balanced observer. I'm not trying to be a homer, in other words. So Duncan sitting 2 puts up a guard. And so it's second rocks. And so I think basically Pomeroy's content to try to keep opening it up, and then hopefully have a draw under cover for to be shot rock, or just really minimize Duncan's chances to score a lot of points. So as you see the net start coming from Kara Umflet, looking to clear out one of these guards. And the guard's going to be Peel. Oh, it's going to run the red into the house. Close to a double. And this bonus coverage is being brought to you by endgamecurling.com. Manufacturers of curling brooms, including the travel broom stick, or the travel shaft that breaks into thirds. You can pack it into your carry-on baggage. Information at endgamecurling.com. So going for a draw here with the third for Team Duncan, which would be Alyssa Duncan. This is going to, I think, reach the rings, if not go to the back. Doesn't change the situation too much, as it does crash on the red of the bat. So it looks like we had another game off the ice, wrap up early. I'll do my best to let you guys know what that is. So it looks like Team Hazard was able to, punch a ticket to get a win here, defeating Team Fry 13-2. This is Kara's second rock. I think trying to hit the red at the top of the range. Maybe did a bit of roll back. And that does look like exactly what happened. It does jam on the back. So that means red in the back is shots. But good effort by Kara. So it looks like Duncan's going to draw again, with Duncan holding the broom. This is Alyssa throwing the rock. Her shot was heavy last time, and this one's going to be looks like a little lighter. And I think they want to make sure it gets into the range this time, and it will stick around. But with a strong sweep from both the front end, Derek Swanson and Sam Brokenshire. So it looks like we're to skip stones, and this is the best view right now that we have. Looking to draw around the center rocks and be shy, I believe. I mean, well, this is the first time this weekend we're seeing the outside wall, so I haven't seen how the rocks behave this year, how they might interact with the wall zone. But it looks like they're drawing. As Ken Pomeroy gets set. It's interesting to see that delivery not like head on. I thought he looked a little tight, and this is going to end up being a little tight. So Trash is on the guard. Duncan's still sitting 2, and Pomeroy does have some house money to play with. So I mean, if they might be okay giving up 2 and being tied, coming home with a hammer. That's not a bad place to be, as it were. And just a reminder for those still tuning in, which I thank you again for being here. Our next game is going to be at 12:30. The feature game is going to be Team Raju taking on Team Baird. The Coyotes stream is going to be Team Endicott facing Team McDonald. And that will be at 12:30 on YouTube. There's a chance we could have a tiebreaker. If the tiebreaker were to take place, that'd be at 4:30. As we see the first route coming from Kenny Duncan, I believe, or K Dunks, as I'm sure he's called by some. And they were trying to draw around as well on the right side, and this looks like it's also coming up short. So that might be the Walsh situation.
Somebody has to be the first.
So if there is a tiebreaker at 4:30, our quarterfinal round will be at around 8. If there is no tiebreaker, our quarterfinal round will start at 7. So I just recommend people stay tuned all day, but we'll see. So Palmer is going to try that draw again. The port is there. They just need to have the right weight to get into the rings. Hopefully buried. Needs to be at least touching the 8-foot ring to be shot. As Pomeroy gets set, he usually checks in with his front end before getting into the hack. Draw against 2 without the hammer here in the 7th. So it looks like it's tight to the guard. Oh, and yep. So it crashes, and now Duncan has 2 in hand and has a chance for a 3rd point.
Keep going, Everett. Keep going. No, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That one goes to 2.
So, interesting game back and forth. I'm glad we were able to bring the conclusion of this game to you all. Draw for 3. Last rock here in the 7th. Kenny Duncan. Looks okay. It might be a little light. The sweepers are not sweeping it though, so they're pretty okay with it. And it works out for them. It's going to be that 3rd point. Duncan will take a 1-point lead into the 8th and final end when we come back to the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. So while they're finishing their break, let's check in on the Sheet C game. The contest between Bob Leclerc, his rink from Coyotes, taking on Jesus Barajas, hailing out of San Francisco Bay Area Curling. It's the 8th and final end, barring an extra end. Leclerc is holding a 7-5 lead over Barajas, but Barajas has the hammer. Looks like Leclerc is sitting 2, but Barajas is trying to move some granite around. And that is the Coyotes stream, if you wanted to tune into the finale of that. So Barajas was successful in getting rid of one of the yellows. Back on our bonus coverage sheet. Sorry for the camera angle. It looks a little more bizarre. Barajas was successful in getting rid of one of the. And I don't know if we needed a replay of that. that was a draw there by the lead for Duncan to Sam Brokenshire. And now we're going to see what the lead for Pomeroy can do. This is Ali Sticka.
Why would you?
Down one with the hammer. This is Pomeroy's challenge, although Duncan also needs to probably either try to steal or just force Pomeroy to one. So Sticka puts up a corner guard. As Sam delivers her next. I think they were going to try and draw around. Ends up ticking off of the yellow corner guard and rolls back towards the center. So Duncan has two center line guards, as far as I can tell, and the no-tick rule is still in effect for at least two more shots. Sticka's next rock coming down the way. And it looks like Pomeroy wanted to take advantage of that corner guard and draw into the rings. Looks pretty good, just a smidge heavy. Sticka's not happy with the weight. And indeed, it goes through the house out of play. So it looks like Duncan is going to try and draw around the center guards. With the second for Duncan, this is going to be Derek Swanson, a familiar face around the Coyotes club. He's been a volunteer for several things, including I think ice and also helping the bar. So his shot crashes on the corner guard and promotes it into the rings. So Pomeroy is either looking to split the rings essentially. So we've been talking about the wall factor, or the wall effect, or the something catchier that involves the wall. We're workshopping names. So I think it seems like the wall might be a little curvier and might be a little slower. Just how I saw that last end unfold. And also we've had 2 games and usually ice tends to slow down once the ice area gets colder. So that might be what we're seeing. We might be seeing the teams tricked a little bit by the ice conditions changing. Although I say all that, and it looks like David Hurst made that draw around. And so now Derek is going to do a takeout on the right. This is looks pretty good. It's going to clip. Oh no, it flashes. My apologies. So Pomeroy has a hammer, and he has a pretty good advantage right now. Although he's kind of concerned about the situation on the right side. And also that draw on the left is still there. So he's looking at maybe tapping back, putting a third rock into the rings for David Hurst's second stone. Looks pretty good. Hoping to tap the shot stone back further under cover. Looks pretty close. Needs a little bit more weight on it, maybe. Taps it just a little bit, and then the shooter will roll to the left, putting that third rock in the rings and is sitting. The shooter sitting second rock. So now there's a chance for Alyssa Duncan. I don't know if she can do a double, but she can get rid of at least one of the yellows. And this is pretty close, it looks like. It just chips the yellow. And it's enough to get through the house out of play. So Alyssa Duncan escorted that unruly house guest from the premises. That's a turn of phrase I haven't used yet this weekend. So it looks like Pomeroy wants to... it's kind of dangerous in the front of the house. I mean, they kind of have the draw... They kind of have the draw already kind of in place. So, I mean, it might be good to try to draw to the top of the rings, but maybe get behind everything and be buried maybe back 4 foot. As we see the next rock coming from Kara Umflett. Going for a draw. Sitting the 2 they need for the win. Duncan currently has a 1-point lead. And this is looking pretty good. They need a sweep to make sure it gets into the rings. And it does get there. So it looks like Duncan's going to switch back to trying to make a play on the right side. Maybe a hit and roll would make sense in this scenario if he's got it. If he has it or got it. As Alyssa Duncan gets set. He set it for a draw though, so I was thinking hit. But a draw can, if it negates those 3 Pomeroy counting rods, that would be so much the better. But there's also a risk of it jamming on the red guard, which it does. So now there's a pretty wide port that Pomeroy wants to pluck. He wanted to put it on the top 8 foot. I would think top 12 guard would be the safer call because he has 3 right now. And I wouldn't want to go deep and give Duncan a target to aim at and start negating some of these Pomeroy stones. So I think he's looking at like it's going to end up in the top 12, 8 foot. And then the line's also important. So he's sweeping, and so now Duncan can hit and roll. They can draw to it. That's just kind of a dangerous placement there. So Kenny Duncan is getting set for a hit and roll, it looks like. I'm going to ask really quickly. All right, Duncan shots away. This looks a little tight though. I think it might make contact on. Okay, it looks pretty good though. I thought it was going to keep curling. It just kind of stayed straight. But now Duncan's sending shot, which was my concern for where that last Pomeroy rock ended up. So now Pomeroy has a hit, and maybe trying to think about where he wants to end up. I mean, I think even rolling away wouldn't be bad in this case. I mean, I say that because if he hits and sticks, Duncan can repeat that shot, and if he rolls only a little bit, there's the hit and roll for Duncan is there. But if he hits and rolls away, then Duncan has a couple decisions and there's chances for misses. So the hit's made, it's going to roll wide. So I think that's a perfect shot there from Pomeroy. And so now facing four, Duncan is going to try the draw on the right side, which Pomeroy has shown that it's there. Although Pomeroy has not gone deep on that draw on the left side. Crucial shots to stay alive. Kenny Duncan drawing against four. Looks like a pretty smooth release. Sweepers jumped on it early. Now the question is the line good? And the weight good? The weight I don't think is there. But sweepers are going at it. Let's see how far it can go. And it does crash on the top yellow. And that is a score of 4 and handshakes for Team Pomeroy and Team Duncan. So Team Pomeroy, after having a couple tough games to start the tournament and the events, with a win, a 12-8 win over Team Duncan. And then Team Duncan also kind of in the same boat, unfortunately not able to get a win in this event. So that concludes our coverage of the 9 a.m. draw. We're going to be back at about 12:30 for the last game of pool play. And just a reminder that we have 2 sheets streaming our feature sheets right here on YouTube. MoPac is Team Raju versus Team Baird. And then the Coyotes stream is going to be Team Barajas taking on it's Team Endicott taking on McDonald's. And that's going to be on the Coyotes YouTube channel. But stay tuned to either MoPac or Coyotes YouTube channels for the latest. And just a reminder that our coverage is being brought to you by our generous sponsors, including doubletakeout.com, curling.gg, and Endgame Curling. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at the first draw Saturday. Just another friendly reminder that this broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the written express consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Oh, and on that note, for all of us here at Coyotes, MoPac, all of our sponsors, this is your host Ryan Olson saying good day and good curling.